Conversations. I'm your host, Guru Brando, and here's my adorable, lovely, and wonderful co-host. Your name's what?
Lady Beth. I still use the lady part, which is the part you paid for, so thank you.
Whatever. Anyway, and off camera we have our lovely Miss Carol.
Hello.
Yeah, because that's where she is. Anywho's, and we don't judge her for that. We love her for supporting us. So we have another big support in our life, besides my old bras, is my dad, and he turned 80, and on the heels of your dad's death and funeral, right? That was a tough day Thursday. It gave me a lot of perspective and helped me, I think, to process it, knowing that you're going through it and you're okay.
Yeah.
Right? You can see that, can't you? That you're being a really big example, but sometimes it can feel like a burden, huh? If you know that you have other people counting on you to not lose your cool.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it makes it more motivating for me to keep my crap together.
so, but we told you if it feels like a burden, you don't have to carry that burden, and you don't have to pretend to be okay, right?
Right.
But if I say that to you now, that means that when it happens to me, it has to be true there. And I don't know that that's going to be so well. So I'm not going to think about that. What I think about is 80 being my goal. So instead of looking at it as, a really bad thing, that my dad's 80 and he's getting so close. It's like, I can be 82 and my dad could be 100. So I like thinking about that because he's made it this far. And he didn't even care that we only put an 8 on the cake because the cake was a circle, so it was a 0.
Yeah.
It counted. And oh crap, tonight's date night. We're in here doing the podcast and Grandpa's without his ice cream in my freezer. Ooh, but he has cake, so he'll just have cake, I bet.
There's other ice cream.
So I want you, and and if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I want you to talk a little bit about your experience with Fred. Kind of the stuff that
Gosh.
Carol laughs too, because it's and we're saying it in a loving, kind way.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we can't deal with the man, because obviously we love him.
Fred's fun. Fred's a lot of fun.
Okay, you have to be way more convincing than that. You have to actually put your glasses on and look at people. It's like total deflection.
No,
What did you say first? You said Fred is fun?
yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, gosh.
Yeah, gosh.
I guess it doesn't matter what's going on. It's like, I don't know. Gosh. Help me out here.
Aloof is a word.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that works.
Aloof sometimes.
I was gonna say, well, it's never dull, but then I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not to him.
Right.
He's like the most self-entertained person
Yeah. How do we?
at
how do we
anybody else's
approach
expense.
that?
But not in any sort of
It's
mean or
borderline
malicious way.
personality
It's
disorder,
just-
people.
Fred's a lot of fun.
Yes.
He is entertaining.
Okay, so if
Yeah, entertaining.
I get it from someone, right? I'm like my dad. So he surprises us though sometimes, which is what keeps him entertaining. My dad, who by all accounts looks like every other conservative old white man, wore my weed man costume, including cape and tights, and posed for a picture doing the peace sign with me. I
Yeah.
mean, holy shit, that was like 2-3
That
years
could be
ago.
a good pop-up.
Right, yeah. But, it's, he's an interesting fella. He's got some interesting stories and some very colorful adjectives for certain situations and people. And that's how I know that I am progressive. Because there are days that we look at ourselves and we go, man, are we that asshole? Right, Carol? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, I am.
Yeah. But it's like we go, are we those assholes that think that? Like, did we turn into our parents? And then we realize pretty quick, yeah, no. But not everybody is as fortunate as I am to be able to look at their 80-year-old dad and go, thank God I'm not that. Right? That's really what we do.
But we are, but it's just in a different way, in our way.
In a more progressive way, right?
In a way of our generation.
Yes.
You know, so our kids are going to be like, oh my God, you guys are so out of touch.
And so, right. And so I have a client that I saw tonight, Toby. You know Toby. Everybody knows Toby. And Toby and Dad have a unique relationship where they share a lot of experience together because they have that freedom to spend time.
I thought you had different ones tonight, and the other one.
No. Anyway, and so hanging out with Toby, and that's kind of what it feels like. You know, I had to very quickly identify for Dad that he is progressive with Toby, but there's aspects of Toby that he needs to explore on his own and say, this is away from what my dad values and believes, right? Because values get stale. You know, I mean,
yeah,
it's true.
If the time changes to a point where the value is no longer
exactly, because
viable,
now we value social media and the technical age, which we should. If you don't know, like me, how to do these things, you have somebody like Miss Carol, hopefully, to whip you into shape, because even a life coach needs a coach periodically, right?
lest we become the person who comes down here a couple of times a week with the same problem, laptop tucked under arm.
So now you can talk about how entertaining Dad is. So you see how that segue happens naturally on its own, right? So let's talk about that. That is a source of frustration for any, I'm assuming, youngster, any youngster that has to deal with an older generation that's unfamiliar with technology. And guess what? I am that person too. So it's like, yikes. I don't know when it happened. I don't like it, and it sucks. But I have to own my shit, right, Carol?
Yep.
I have to say, okay, how many Instagram accounts did I create?
Too many.
Yeah.
But
And then I say, I smoked pot. What do you want from me?
you're
That's all
you're the computer guru for your dad.
I want to jump off a cliff some days because I don't want that burden. And that's sort of what I was saying about you. You have the burden to be an example of balance for people during grief, because I'm that person that's looking at you going, I wish that he would just stop doing that. And then it's instantly, it occurs to me, I don't wish that. Because if I wish that, it means it'll stop happening. And I don't want that, and that's a scary, dramatic thought for me. And so I look to you, and I think, if she can do it, I can do it. What makes you believe when you can do something, and you know it with your whole heart, what makes you believe that it's true for anyone?
I don't understand quite as far as what makes it true for anyone.
If it's true for you, it's true for everyone.
Okay.
Right? So it means you don't separate yourself. So if you tell yourself what's true for me, it can be true for anyone.
Okay, I got you. In reference to just your dad and dealing with your dad?
That's a way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way. Right? That's a very diplomatic approach. I don't know that I would have said putting up with, but there you go. Enjoy the presence of. Right.
When we were still in Klondike and all the legal stuff was happening, and then Fred was given certain instructions of who not to visit during a certain amount of time, to which Fred ignored daily.
100%.
Every day.
Constantly.
He violated this order.
Woo!
And regardless of what anybody told him. And so, his attorney's getting frustrated with him, the judge is getting frustrated with him, And I'm talking to him like, Fred, you've been told by the judge, don't go and see this person, but you
Or
keep
you'll
going
go
to see
to
this
jail.
person. And he can't because, this person was somebody to him for a certain amount of time, and nobody was going to tell him what to do. It didn't matter what. And when I saw it in his eyes, I knew who I was dealing with at that moment, and there was going to be no arguing. He was going to do what he was going to do.
And it's that one main principle of I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And it's just reoccurring. And we've talked about that amongst ourselves. That I am so the opposite of that. I will beat permission into the ground before I'll do it, just because I have that fear of asking for forgiveness. I don't ever want to ask for forgiveness because I know how it feels. Right?
I understand the quandary that he was dealing with.
Oh my God, she said quandary.
Ooh, it
That's
was
the word of the day.
It was a difficult situation for him. It was his entire life.
Yeah.
That was changing. And for somebody like Fred, who's has very linear thought processes, this kind of change isn't, it wouldn't be something that, after everything else that's happened into his life, this should have been really what broke him.
He just fucking did it.
He soldiered on.
He just packed up his shit. He sold it. He remodeled his house. He sold it. He moved here because he valued us to that degree.
And it might have been that linear thought process that helped him because, he can only focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, and that was the mission, right? And you are very mission oriented too.
It helps you see past the emotional stuff and kind of put it away and deal with it later.
And that's why you call it soldiering on. And that's what you called it, he soldiered on. And because it's that mentality, it's that mindset. And whenever I think about it, and I think about a project or a task, I think about creation. Like, I don't think about it being a mission or a task. I think about sort of like whenever you touch a paintbrush to paper with watercolor, and it just kind of goes everywhere. That's sort of what I think about, as opposed to, thinking that there's gonna be a destination. But I still set goals. I don't want to get lost over here somewhere. So I set a goal, I'm going to have it somewhere in this area at some point in time. And here I am, 45, and I have it somewhere. It's right here. And I look at my dad and I go, holy crap, I could possibly have at least 40 more years.
You could.
So what am I going to do with it? And then I thought, I'm going to get some bougie scarves. And then I looked at Miss Carol and I said, I don't have enough bougie scarves. And she goes, I got you. And I got bougie shoes too. So I'm feeling pretty decked out today. And you got a new whoopee.
I did.
And it's soft and cuddly. And we like it. And you got you got new boots that almost match that, right?
These are keeping my feet warm. They're ugly as hell, but they're keeping my feet warm.
They're called Uggs.
Yeah.
That's why. So that's all I have to say about that. Right. Okay. Now, news at home is that Oliver is a stinker, and
that's not news.
Well, he's coming up with language and attitude that now we look at and go, that's not our thing. So he's learning from his environment.
Yeah,
and he's the first kid that we've got to actually watch, learn from a totally unique environment to what we're used to.
Yep,
this is the Midwest.
Getting his own style.
It's bizarre. We have a Southern family with a Midwest kid. It's so strange and exciting and brand new. Come aboard.
I think I always belonged in the Midwest.
We're expecting you. The Love Boat. That's what I was doing, and you didn't even do it.
Yeah.
My disappointment scale.
Sorry.
Alex would have got it.
Nobody's jumping on that train today.
Huh?
Nobody jumped on that train today.
I know, right? I can't get anybody to go along with me. Y'all are just all cruel, cruel people.
Yep.
So I think it's the weather that's making everybody cruel and mean.
Yeah, because it's cold.
That it is not just cold; it is cold and messy. That's what that's called.
It's not
called
fun
messy.
outside. It's cold and gross.
So tell me, why is it necessary for it to be cold and gross like this?
So that you can appreciate the days when it's not.
And there we go. And then I smile again.
That's the only reason why, I'm able to look at the cold and gross days and go, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it doesn't suck as much as other stuff could. And that's exactly what Thursday was for me. I looked at my dad and I said, holy crap, you are one gloomy day right now. You are 80 years old, and wow. And then I was like, you know what? I can't even have a pity party because I have my 80-year-old dad who's in great health.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to experience that, and some people don't. So I'm grateful, fortunate, and happy. And I have a cool sweater. And I actually have 2 sweaters on and a shirt underneath.
What does that tell you?
That I am not a Midwestern person. That I am... What did you just say? What was that? That I have style. I think that's what you said. Oh, Ashley's watching. And I was about to talk about her. And I was kind of a lead up into it. This nice attire that I'm wearing. So Ashley, one of my clients, has a new job and she absolutely loves it, right? Because it's totally up her alley. And we were talking today about how it feels. Oh, jeez, how it feels.
Do we have comments?
No, she said she can't get on the comments. Sarah said she can't get on the comments, but she wanted us to know that she's watching and enjoying. Well, we will talk about you too here momentarily. So, Ashley has this job, and we were talking about how it feels to have the real job. Like you're finally mature, Carol, you get it. It's like you're not working service, like fast food service. You're not, you're doing that job where you're learning something new and gaining those skills, and so it feels super mature. And she hit on something today saying that, she felt like she had no idea what she was doing, yet somehow she remains capable, right? So in other words, she's keeping her job because she's capable enough to keep the job.
Yes.
So why question, right? Why do you even say to yourself, I feel like I'm not capable, or they must believe I'm not capable, or something like that? You can't bully yourself at all, because the truth is, if you weren't capable, you wouldn't have the opportunity or the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if you weren't capable, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah, like I am so super proud of her, and she's actually been leaps and bounds great lately. Had a little bit of a plateau today, but I am really proud of her, and I don't brag enough on individuals. Now, I'm not going to tell you all her business because she would probably slap the crap out of me. And she's pretty strong. Like, I can see that in her. And she almost whooped me today because I was talking to her as she was standing outside and she's freezing. But she left her coat in here. She leaves her coat every single time, but this time she actually turned around and came and got it. So anyway, she's still doing well, but she looked extremely professional today. And it occurred to me that one of my personalities is professional, and that was today. So we synced up today and had a good session, and then I got to see my boy Toby, and that was great too. And Andy had an awakening during session too. So Dad had his own experience along with Toby. And so that was pretty amazing. He is able to see, just like I am, the progress in the kids because they can look at their parents, right? So I look at my dad and he can look at his parents, and it's hilarious because how they look to us is not how they are with the grandkids, right? Just like our kids didn't see the same mom or same grandma that I had as a mom, right? So, Grandpa now is kind of mellow. So they see Mellow Grandpa, and I want to go, you just don't know what a terrible person he was. But I can't. I can't even say that. It's like, I don't even get that. He totally robbed me of that. You know, it's like, no, it's not fair. He's like so great, and I hate it. I hate that he's so great. But he's very timid about the kids. He doesn't ever want to get on their bad side or be in trouble by them, and it cracks me up. He's like kind of one of the kids, like Arthur in the basement.
Yeah, yeah.
If you watch King of Queens, he is Arthur. So we'll never give him a hot plate. He does have a heater, but he has a torch. So what am I saying?
Yep.
You know.
Torches and welders and power tools.
I haven't talked about
flamethrowers.
Oh, we did get that flamethrower, and it's nice too.
I didn't get
Have you ever used one? Have you ever used it? It's for weeds. It's a weed killer. See, it's a holistic way of killing weeds. It is. It's nice. It's nice. Way to go, Beth. Good job there, Babs.
Flamethrower.
So it's interesting, speaking of flamethrower, getting used to one bathroom. I had an issue this morning where I was a bit of a flamethrower, and you were in the bathroom, and I looked at the clock and was like, oh my God, because we have a schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my flamethrowing ass was panicked this morning with you being in the bathroom, and you were gracious enough to be like, I'm almost done here. To which the panic subsided a little bit to where I didn't die. But overall, you have to get used to that, you know, where you might be standing between me and the bathroom and you're going to get tackled. Yeah, and it's not a good habit to have. So I'm going to be watching more closely. I didn't take my dairy pill, is what the problem was. So I know these habits that I'm getting out of. And I'm like, why am I getting out of these habits? Why am I forgetting this stuff? Am I smoking too much pot? Am I not smoking enough pot? And then I realized, you know what it is? It's because I don't want to take them. If I wanted to take them, I would be taking them, right? So either I want the suffrage or I want to have to stop eating it. That's the fact.
You want the right to vote in the 20s?
I do. The suffrage. So it's tough for me. It's tough for me to decide to do what's right because I need to do what's right.
Yeah.
Versus do what's right because it's right.
Well, how many times are you going to allow yourself to pay the price?
To eat dairy or to not eat dairy?
Without taking your pill.
Oh, but see, that's
like
where the disruption is.
You just got to have this little lactate
I
pill
have to
before you
take
have your
this
dairy.
little
That's
stupid
it.
pill. I know. It's a problem for me.
Think of it as your golden ticket to eat all the dairy you want.
Well, but the pill costs money, and not eating dairy
costs
doesn't.
money.
Right.
Dairy costs money.
But it's like,
discussion about my gluten pills.
I know
Really?
it's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
so,
you.
so
Thank
guess
you.
what? So that means that every time you obsess about your gluten
Did
pill,
you not see the package I
I see
received today?
nothing.
And it
I
had
see
2 boxes
nothing.
of gluten medication in it.
oh look, so you can eat goldfish.
Yes,
Yay! So she can eat normal food.
because I take the
Oh, zip it, Helpy Helperton. You have one goal to make.
you, even when you're
It
wrong.
didn't turn out the way you thought, did it?
No,
Not
it
even
sure
close.
didn't. Damn. Like, I so didn't know she got those gluten pills in. That would have been way better had she not. Oh, okay. So I realized something today, y'all, and this is kind of dumb and funny at the same time. And nobody that is watching actually will understand this at all. So we'll have to do visuals. Now, if I turn my back to right there, behind me on the wall are 2 pictures. Now, I didn't know this until today when I was taking a selfie. And I realized that one is good and one is evil. So it is simply like my shoulder angel and my shoulder devil, because I have a picture that says live every moment, every day, laugh every day, love with no regrets. And then I have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre photo with Grandpa from the movie.
And
And,
Leatherface and a big giant Leatherface.
Yeah, big leather face with chainsaw. And he signed it, Grandpa signed it to my good pal, the Texas, I can't say the word, it's a derogatory word. And then he signed it Grandpa. Now, I have that on the other side. So I was noticing that that's kind of interesting, and I started to look around and realized I have a good balance of good and evil in this room. I have dragon claws and Happy Meal toys. I have
Yeah, like vintage Happy Meal toys.
yeah, vintage, yeah. And I have everything in this house is damn vintage at this
The
point.
house
Let's
is
face
vintage.
it,
The
Grandpa's
house is beyond
vintage, and
vintage.
most of this crap's his, right? So, I even have the rescues, the new chinchillas that I keep calling the rescues, like the rescuers down under. That's what I think of. So they're like the rescues, and then I have my little guys, and even that is good and evil right there because they're not getting along so well and their neighbors. I think I'm gonna have to move the cages apart, and that's what I was gonna talk to you about. Is I think that they need to be away a little bit more, so I'm gonna start restructuring crap.
Maybe a more substantial block between them.
I don't think that it's noise. I think that it's scent.
They're going to
So,
smell each other in the room. maybe.
Right, but not as strong if they're not right next to each other. So, and they can't be spraying each other that way. And that is some filth and foul. So, we're going to try to eliminate that. So, what's going on with you lately besides you and Miss Carol talking about me behind my back?
Well, that's been pretty much it. Mostly that.
Yeah. It's good stuff, though. I mean, it sucks that I never get to hear it, so I'm beginning to think I just imagine that
Well, then
y'all
it would
talk
be
about
behind
me.
your back now.
I
would it?
know, but I'm starting to think y'all don't actually really talk about me, and it makes me a little bit sad, but I do what I can to get by. I just invent stuff sometimes. I don't know if you know that or not.
We talk about you all the time.
I hope so, because, I deserve that. I do. I deserve to get talked about, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes. Is
Okay.
everybody ready?
Because I am. And I said that to a client who came in and said, "Oh my gosh, I thought you would be so much taller." I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "You are so tiny." And I was like, "Wow, okay, why do you feel that way? You're a little bit taller than me, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not like 8 feet tall, right?" So I was like, "Why did you think I would be much taller?" And they said, "Well, because I am. I'm, for a guy, I'm tall. I'm average, and I just expect you to be average like me. So now average becomes tall."
Yeah. Well,
He made that comparison, right?
it's
Average.
like we measure ourselves,
Right.
against other people all the time.
Well, but you only measure it that way when you see somebody smaller, right? Average is tall.
Or considerably taller.
Is taller, right? So I thought about that for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I don't actually label myself generally as tall or short or anything, or even gender wise or any of that stuff. I just am, just kind of live. And it occurred to me it's because I never complete that. I am. I am in this moment right now. I am doing the best that I can. I am motivated. I'm energetic. I'm progressive. I'm a whole host of things all in this one single moment. Right? So I can't give myself one solitary moment to just be one thing. Right? So I try not to just be that one thing. Even if that one thing is I am stubborn. If I'm stubborn, I'm going to also find the counterbalance, the good and the evil. So I'm stubborn, so what can I be instead of stubborn?
Not stubborn.
I can be receptive, right?
Yes.
So if I can recognize in that moment that I'm being stubborn, I immediately say, oh, I can be receptive. Holy crap, I didn't even know that about myself. I didn't know that I could be receptive because clearly I can be stubborn. And you can't have one without the other. It's like a left Twix and a right Twix.
Yeah, you got to find the balance between them.
So
There's
I
a time
realize
when it's okay to be stubborn, and there's a
Yeah.
time you need to stop it.
yeah, there's a time and place for everything. So 80 is a big old goal. That's the name of the podcast. 80 is a big old goal. So I'm like looking at it going, I gotta have balance. If 80 is the goal, and I was talking to Carol about that, here my dad, I first said I will never live to be 80 because he has done a lot of things well. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't partake in, destructive type teenage behavior or even young adult behavior. He's a pretty even John Denver type guy. Nothing fancy or flashy, very humble, and a reserved type person until you get him going. So I thought, I can't compete with that. How am I going to live up to that? And then I realized I got so much character that he didn't get. It's got to offset that, right?
So your
maybe
entire
me
circumstance is
smoking and
different.
drinking and everything will be void because I'm a good guy. Does it work that way?
Well, you also got to look at it like
you laugh.
it's like you didn't restrict yourself in, certain kinds of knowledge.
Right, yeah. I learned all kinds of shit.
There's
about
knowledge
everything.
that comes with addiction. If you have an addiction to nicotine, you have the knowledge of that. No matter how long you've
Good
quit,
grief.
you're always going to know what that feels like.
Right. Yeah, don't vape, people. Nicotine, it's bad.
I haven't had a cigarette since what?
Well, la-di-da. Really?
Since
Really?
forever,
We're doing
but-
this? Really?
No, I'm just saying.
Really?
But I can still remember what it feels like.
Good for you.
And that's just a
Me
cigarette.
Too.
So,
Me
I
too.
mean, it
Yes, your information is valid. Don't let me feel bad.
And there was once upon a time when Mom sent us to go get her pack of cigarettes, and we just quit smoking,
Yeah.
and it was
we
brutal.
had a cigarette in 3 days,
God.
and she sent us to go get her a pack of cigarettes.
And it's like you can't fight the system at that point.
I was
a
little frustrated that day.
I would say heated, like not a spark, but a flame. You were aglow. And, it's those common courtesies, I think, that my dad has that makes me really appreciate him. Like, he was going to go scrape the ice off the car for Alex and for Carol. It's like, he did. He shoveled all the way to your car. And he's like, I didn't know if she was going to get out or not, so I wanted to make sure she could. And it's like, and then he said, get me up, or, make sure that I remember in the morning and I'll do your sidewalk and stuff. I said, I don't have anyone coming in until this afternoon.
He's got to have something to do. Fred's a busybody,
So,
and if you don't give him something to do, he's gonna find something to do.
So why do you think he's mission oriented like that?
Um,
I know why, but I want you to tell them why.
I think that he's kind of figuring things out now, and if he slows down too much, then he might not be able to speed back up.
So essentially running from the Grim Reaper.
He's got to stay on task so he can get everything done before the
What do
big
you
day.
think? You think?
I think that
he's
it's
pretty-
built in from how he was raised.
Yeah. So
like what he was on the tractor since he was what,
yeah,
10.
he has no clue what it is to just chill.
To not stop moving from the moment your eyes open.
And that's why I think that I have balance. So maybe I can make it to 80 after all.
So getting up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at
4:20
11,
sometimes.
12, 1 a.m. is your idea of balance?
Oh. Wah, wah, wah.
Got some challenges
Oh,
happening here.
Oh, I just got struck. I just got struck by the humble
We're
train.
not going to talk about the long lunch you took today where you didn't leave your desk, but that's another story. Moving on.
Ouch.
Somebody work
Well,
a little much.
I was paying attention to stuff, and I was talking and hanging out. Damn. In the doghouse.
No.
No doghouse, just these are facts.
Yeah, the facts suck. Ouch. Okay, well, I firmly believe I have better balance than Dad.
Well, I
So let's
think
take
so
a
too, yes.
right.
Yes.
So that's what I mean. I
Because
might
there's-
not have balance according to y'all, because y'all can kiss my grits, but according to Dad,
Yeah, the basement's kind of a testament to balance.
I can't. Let's not. No. And beneath the basement is my balance, because that's where we have pot.
Yeah.
So our cavern cannabis is quite nice. That's a mouthful to say. That's what we need to practice saying before the podcast. Oh, that's what she said. Ah, yeah.
You went too many layers too deep with that one.
Oh, it wasn't too many. Most of our friends and 100% of my clients will get it. So I do have a new client I want to address just for a minute. A really, really cool guy, and I think that he is going to be amazing during coaching, because he has awareness that what he's doing is not working. And that's all you have to know in order to get through it, right, Carol?
Yep.
You just one day wake up and go, fuck, what I'm doing is not working. I can't do this, right? And I was telling a client today, and even Carol actually, that my usual scarf, my tie-dye scarf here, I call it I hate it. And it's sort of like Cleveland Brown's sad sack on the Cleveland show. So when I am throwing my tantrum for the day and I'm saying, oh, I hate this, or I hate the way people treat other people, or just any kind of negative thought that I have that involves anger or disgust, I take this and I go to cover my head as I'm saying it, and it's impossible for me to look at these bright colors, these wonderful blues, and this tie-dye and hate it, because I love it. It's my favorite scarf. So when I'm complaining about hating something, I at least have an example of what's good in my life, right? And so it makes the transition easier from saying, you know what, I'm getting an unfair shake at life, to I'm learning a really good lesson about myself, right? Because that's what it is. You can say, I'm really getting a shitty hand, or thank you for letting me play this game.
Yeah. It's all
'Cause-
about your attitude.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you gotta want to play the game. Because if you don't want to play the game, you're gonna have a shitty hand every time, because that's all you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not gonna see the times that you've, actually played good cards. What are the good cards you've played lately?
You mean that, what, metaphorically?
Oh my God. She's fired. The co-host thinks they're funny.
Gosh.
You did bazinga me on that whole lady thing. You can absolutely say Lady Beth, and it just sort of jabs me a little bit. Damn it. I want you to have to say the whole long thing. That's what she said. Oh my gosh, that's like twice. Woo, I'm on fire. All right. So, anyways.
What was I saying? You distracted me, and I forgot what I was doing.
Wow.
You derailed the
Wow.
thought train.
Okay, so today, what cards have you played?
Right.
Or what cards have you played lately? Meaning metaphorically.
Yeah.
So what has been working out for you, working out well, and what hasn't been?
Well, the recent plant curing worked out very well, I think.
Okay.
I'm very happy with
Yeah.
that result.
Slap hands! Air 5.
What?
The plant curing, the
Plant
herb
curing. Gotcha.
remedies.
Yes.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Anyway,
A very successful crop.
it's a very successful crop.
Um,
Yes. Okay.
But I don't know what hasn't worked.
Okay. So basically, this. Sometimes people in your position would say, "I've been dealt shitty hand." Here on this day that it needs to be about me and my transition. It's about somebody else in their transition. And you've had that a few times in your life. And right now is another example of it. Thursday, here you were trying to transition through grief, and my dad was transitioning. You know, he and I were developing a different relationship in that moment, right? And so for you, you could have said, "Damn the universe! You know, this is cruel. You know, to have this happening." And I looked at it like, "Holy crap!" It felt almost intentional.
Well, I didn't look at it as a bad thing. My dad passing, he was very sick and he had a lot of problems, and he doesn't hurt anymore. And I don't believe he's gone anyway.
And
You know, I think
that's
he's
the
just transitioned to
takeaway.
a new form of energy, and he's doing his new thing.
And we had some kind of weird shit happening too
Yeah.
since then. So it has
Yeah.
to. I have to say, I feel like your dad's messing with me a little bit, turning my keyboard off. I mean, that's a little strange, and opening up doors and stuff, making me actually get up and then question myself. And
Yeah, I thought there was I think it was earlier this morning. I was sitting on the end of the couch, and the big sliding door right there was kind of bouncing back and forth in the frame,
Yeah, with
like
the air,
like
yeah.
like there was a cat trying to
yeah,
claw his way
yeah,
in.
yeah.
And so I sat there and watched it, and I was expecting Fat Belly to poke her head through, and I went back there and I checked it, and there was no cat.
Oh, you mean like this way? It was moving back and forth, not like in the track.
Yeah, it was kind of just sort of wobbling, and then
Okay, gotcha.
kind of doing this number here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
And so I thought it was like, you know, there was just kind of
Yeah. Oh,
Going
and
at
you
it.
made us watch a show. What was that shit?
Dead Files.
What?
The Dead Files.
The Dead Files. If y'all aren't watching The Dead Files, Carol suggests it. And I will tell you this.
It's a little
You need to be high. You watch The Dead Files, be high.
I think the word that she said was hokey.
The beginning, the first few seasons are really hokey.
Yeah, yeah.
But you
there's,
know
there's
what?
some cheese factor to it. It's
Guess
entertaining
what?
though.
To each their own, and I can't complain because I like to watch some pretty silly
Oh
stuff.
God, yeah. I
You
like
know.
a bunch of crap.
Yeah, so nothing, you know.
I mean, Supernatural. Like, you know, I've watched almost all 15 seasons of that.
You didn't have to put that
It
up.
is
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say that
soapy.
is like
There's some things you
super.
keep to
Completely
yourself.
soapy, and I'm not
Yeah.
ashamed.
Well, that's the
I
problem
watched
there,
nearly every episode
Baby.
of Supernatural,
baby.
and I'm
the,
not sorry.
The fact that you feel no shame is concerning,
That's kind
honey.
of the part.
Right?
Your stuff.
Yeah.
You might
love
need
you
to.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Haters
scary
gonna
to-
hate.
Okay. Yeah. mhm.
Stop while you're behind.
Right. Okay, so I do want to address a couple other things. We need to think about what we're doing for Lucas's birthday because he had this thing at the trampoline place, and so that was in 19. He was turning 10. It was supposed to be his big blowout.
He ended up going
And-
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and so he ended up going a couple weeks ago, and I haven't talked to now, not for himself, but to another birthday party, and I haven't talked to him about his experience. But it's a shame that at 10 he didn't get to experience at 10 what he wanted to, you know. But you have to ask yourself: is it much sweeter to wait sometimes? Because he's a pretty patient kid.
Yeah, he is.
COVID
He's-
shut everything down on his
Yeah,
birthday.
it was the day of. It was
God,
ridiculous. The
and
day
he's
he
a
was
middle
supposed
child.
to go, the place shut down.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I already told
Yeah.
you about it. Well, I didn't
So
think about it till right
To me,
now.
it was like, you know, the universe said, you know what, kid, let me throw you a bone.
Yeah,
because
it's-
we've had such a difficult time trying to get him back out there again.
Yeah, and he's doing pretty good. So we've talked about Oliver the Knucklehead and Lucas a little bit, but nothing compares to you, Alex. Whew, she has a good job. She's rolling in the dough. She's banking it, saving for a car. I hope she'll have a ghetto blaster for a while. You know, one that's really loud and obnoxious, like my dog Widow. You know, that I hope that she has to be humbled right out of the gate. Because if she is, then nothing else is going to matter, which is, you know,
Right.
the kind of big point. Because what did you have to drive? What did your dad make you do?
Well, all the way up through high school, I borrowed my parents' cars. And I was,
And that's
took
what
care
our
of them.
kids
I
are doing.
got their oils changed, and I vacuumed them out, and I cleaned them out all the time and stuff. So I did my part to maintain the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And
You skipped school and came and saw me.
I did not skip school in a vehicle. I walked.
That's dedication.
Wow.
I walked right out the front doors.
Wow.
Like I knew what I was doing, and nobody ever questioned me.
I just can't even believe you got away with that. Anywhere I moved in that school, somebody was asking me questions. Maybe I just looked the part.
You're sketchy.
Nobody. I
sketchy
couldn't
as
get in
shit.
trouble if I tried.
I
And
know,
I
yeah.
tried. There was a point in
I
which
know.
I was like, "This is some bullshit."
Like Resident Alien.
I
This is
can't get in trouble
bullshit.
for anything. And so, I would. There's a couple of friends of mine that were, a little bit more troublemakery, and so
Wow.
I would make trouble with them, and they would get in more trouble than I did.
Yeah, because you were so sweet and cute like Oliver. It's so ridiculous. And you know that it's true, Carol. Like, Oliver he's the shoulder devil. You think he's the angel, but he is not. And you're not either. But you look the part. You look like you're all sweet and fantastic and everything, but you're really evil. I know that you are.
Well, I have a
You're
mean
plotting
streak,
with your cat.
but it's gotten
I can't
considerably
even
smaller
believe
over
you
the
like
years.
the cat now.
I don't know. She didn't respond well earlier. I don't think we're best friends anymore.
Good.
She's fickle. She'll like it later.
Dude, whatever. I don't got no
Well, I
time
like
for
her.
that.
Huh?
But will I like her later?
No. No,
Well, that's up to you.
I'm a little fickle myself.
Yeah, that's the problem. Y'all are too much alike, right? I'm not gonna call you Fat Belly though. That's the cat's name.
It's not FAT belly. It's PH.
Oh my God!
belly.
Stop. That means pretty hot and tempting. I'm
It's
done with it.
furry belly that you want to pet.
Don't call me that either.
No one's
That's-
gonna call you that.
That's just terrible, and I
You shut up.
Oh, I love you, baby. Thank you for being on the podcast. I think that we've talked about everything that we're going to talk about, except we didn't talk about my mucous membranes.
We just did.
We did, didn't we? See? And Carol loves it so much. She really actually likes the word booger and mucus a lot. And if I say it when she's eating oatmeal, she has a cute face that she makes at
I
me
don't eat oatmeal.
that is like, I want to kill you. And that face is adorable. She's making it right now. I should show y'all, but I won't, because then for real, I would die. Like laser eyes. Anyway, we've had crappy weather, and so we dealt with that, and that's the only
Yeah.
other thing I had to talk about.
I was gonna say if I played a crappy card, it was getting stuck in the school parking lot this morning.
Oh, so tell me about that. I like these stories.
I normally, whenever I pull into the school drive, it has the way the school's laid out. There's the front of the school, and it has two horseshoe drives that go up and they go around and they go back out into the street. So
Okay.
you pull into the
So one on each side.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the middle is a walkway with the flagpole and all that.
Yeah.
And so we pull into the drive, and I'm looking at the temperature. I'm like, it's about 25 degrees, and I'm looking at the time. I'm like, that's about 11 minutes until your door's open. Do you want to just chill in the van for a few minutes? And he had all his gear with him, had a hat and everything. And but he wanted to chill in the van. I said, okay. So we chilled in the van, and then I forgot that there's a window of time that you have to get in and out of the school parking lot. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck there, because when the buses show up, it locks traffic up for forever. We got there, I think, it was like 7:09 or something like that.
Okay.
His doors open at 7:16, and I was there until almost 8. Sorry.
I was like, wait
8.
a minute. Who are you
All those,
talking
but
about?
8 o'clock instead of 7. And
Wow, you're old.
shut up. And I don't deny that. So you're messing me up now. I can't remember. What was I talking about?
You need to stop. I'm not even playing. This is my life.
I got lost somewhere anyway.
So it was like nearly 8:30 when I finally got out of the school parking lot.
Yeah, she lost me at the first time.
It was ridiculous.
So it was a long time because you were trapped by buses.
Well,
When
I
you
was,
said you got stuck in the
I
parking
was
lot, I
trapped.
thought literally the van broke down.
No, I was stuck in the parking lot because everybody filed into the drive to drop their
Speaking of
children,
stuck,
and then they couldn't get back out
Speaking
because
of
of all the
stuck,
buses.
Carol has this fascination with that show Stuck, where they dig
We still
shit out of
haven't watched
people's...
it yet.
No,
Let's
okay.
watch
When
it.
are we gonna
Listen,
watch that?
hello. I was about to say, we're gonna get Sonic after this. I will spring for Sonic. Get y'all Sonic.
We're gonna eat Sonic and watch
then
Stick stuff.
If y'all can watch Stuck while eating Sonic, I can too.
Let's do it.
I can probably.
And I'm
do
gonna
that.
regret that because I can't stand shit in my ears, and so
Well.
I'm sitting here going, "Oh my God! If somebody sticks those tweezers up in that ear, I'm gonna lose it." But I have to exposure therapy.
Everybody heard him say it. He said he'd watch it.
But we've all seen me try to put on the face mask on the podcast too, and I talked big shit. And at the end of the day, it did not happen because it feels so gooey. It's so nasty. Oh, I do want to mention, right before we came on the podcast, I was making the Facebook announcement and saw that Lindsay is, my cousin Lindsay, Aunt Sarah's daughter, is having to stay in the hospital because of her heart. Something going on with that. So
Yeah.
I want to follow up on that. So Aunt Sarah, I need to know about that a little bit because I haven't been tracking her on Facebook. And Aunt Donna, I need some motivation to redo my office space. So I want to talk to you about that. I have been very, very distracted lately, and it's not my intention. I love you all, but we've got to get some time set aside to really talk about some of those things that we want to do moving forward with the family. Because this thing with Lindsay sort of scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and Aunt Donna, I love you to pieces. I want to at some point meet you, and I don't want it to be too late. You're too important to me. And the same with Aunt Sarah and Uncle Frank and oh my gosh. Okay, no, I can't even believe that I wasn't talking about this all along. So Joe, my wonderful Wednesday night live co-host. You know, Joe and I do the Wednesday Night Live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do that on Facebook, and this we do here on our page. So Joe has been branching out and talking to more people and doing more things with others, which for a while he sort of lost himself and he was isolating. And he has a friend who is very interested in the same stuff he is, the model rockets and models in general. And so Joe has a fan or a group page on Facebook, but he's working with this guy to really improve his skill and his equipment and stuff. So he has decided to advance his knowledge in the field, and that is a growth mindset. And for someone like Joe who struggled with that isolation again and that avoidance, a growth mindset is a wonderful thing to have.
Yes.
And so I am so super proud of him, and he's like excited and happy again, and I love that so much, like when we first met. And so I get to borrow some of his enthusiasm and energy whenever he's talking about his friend, and then I was like, do I have to be jealous?
So is he going to be on
Because-
next Wednesday?
Some
Yeah,
romance.
I know, it's like he's got this new bromance developing, but this guy sounds way cooler than me, like for real. But oddly enough, his new friend and I have a bit of a history that's the same, which we didn't feel like we had a fair chance at life in the beginning because we've struggled with certain things. And I don't want to dime his friend out, but I think that it is really a match made by the universe because Joe has so many lessons that he can teach this guy, you know, because he's been through it, and this guy has so many lessons to teach Joe. And it's neat to watch it, but you know, I might feel a little bit jealous. I don't know. I don't so far. But if Joe's inviting him over for game night, I'm going to have a problem because I don't think the guy's local. And that's probably why I'm not jealous. Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit the bong again, babe? It's that. It's that COPD, right?
Something.
That must be it.
It's not a COVID cough though, and that's important. So I would like updates from the family if you don't mind. I love you to pieces, and please continue to be patient with me and my absence of messaging. Eventually, Carol will start yelling at me because she loves to yell at me. I don't know why.
Absolutely not. He's super sweet.
She's she doesn't
She
even
is.
have.
She's very sweet.
Yeah, she doesn't even have to yell. She just looks at you and you know. Anyway, so we're gonna have Sonic and watch Stuck.
Yes, that should be fun.
Oh God.
I'm
Okay,
looking
so
forward to
So
it.
excited.
I'm like instantly regretting. Like right now, I'm starting to
Yep.
think about. I'm about to turn this off and do
And
this
as
shit.
the minutes and
As
as
the
the seconds and
podcast
minutes
lasts
tick
16
by,
hours
it's
now.
I
closer
know.
to you sitting on that couch eating
Oh my
food and
God!
watching
It's like,
the
what
show.
can we talk about now?
It's
Yeah,
inevitable.
but,
It's going to happen.
God. Ah, I can't wait to see Joe's rockets and stuff. He's
Not
doing
talking
really,
about
really
that.
cool. He's doing really cool
Like
cars.
procrastinator.
Oh my God!
Cars are a lot of fun, especially when you get to sit there and do a really
Oh
detailed
my
paint
God!
job.
But he's doing tiny, tiny ones, like miniatures and miniatures.
That's
He's
super cool.
insane. Anyway, and yeah, he better make me something pretty. Something that my miniature Smurfs can drive around in. I need miniature Smurfs. You know, I
Okay.
love
Smurfs are already miniature.
Wow, was that a short joke? I'm just saying
No, I'm just
because
saying
I
that-
I
because that's what
started
they
this
are.
podcast with this. We just came full circle,
They're as big
right?
as a mushroom.
Guess. Wow, I'm not even touching that at all. Like that's it. Okay, well, I love you, babe. Thank you so much, and I love you, Carol. Thank
I love
you
you
so
too.
much, and all the fans and all the folks listening. Thank you, and that's it. So, do you remember the old thank you?
Yeah.
Remember it? 1, 2, 3.
Thank
Thank you.
you.